Hello friends, welcome back to Management Study with channel. Today's topic is McKinsey's 7S framework, scope and levels of management. McKinsey's 7S framework. The model categorizes the 7 elements as either hard or soft. The elements of McKinsey's 7S framework are strategy, structure, systems, shared values, skills, style, and staff. Out of these 7 elements, strategy, structure, and systems represent hard elements, and shared values, skills, style, and staff represent soft elements. Now you can see in this picture, friends, the top three, that is strategy, structure, systems, represent the hard elements, and the bottom three along with the center one, that is skills, staff, style, and shared vision, represent the soft elements. Actually, why this 7S model is used for? This is used to realign or to improve the performance, or also to maintain the alignment and performance during the other changes made in the organization. The three hard elements are strategy, structure such as organization charts and reporting lines, and systems such as formal processes and IT systems. These are relatively easy to identify and management can influence them directly. The other four soft elements can be harder to describe, less tangible, and more influenced by the company culture. But they are just as important as the hard elements if the organization is going to be successful. Now let us discuss about the elements. Strategy. Strategy is like an organization's plan for building and maintaining a competitive advantage over its competitors. Like they can think about whether to have a long-term strategy or short-term strategy, or else they can also think about what is the strategy they are following, how do they intend to achieve their objectives, how to deal with the competitive pressure, how are the changes in customer demands should be dealt with, how is strategy adjusted for environmental issues. Coming to structure. Structure is nothing but how the company is organized. That is about the departments and the team structure, and including who reports to whom, like what is the hierarchy and how do various departments coordinate activities, and how do the team members of the organization align themselves, where are the lines of communication, like explicit or implicit. About the systems are nothing but the daily activities and procedures that staff use to get the job done. So what are the main systems they follow, where are the controls and how are they monitored and evaluated, what internal rules and processes does the team use to keep on track. So next one is shared values. Shared values are nothing but the core values. How strong are the core values, and what are the corporate or team culture, and what are the fundamental values the team was built on. Next one is style. Style is nothing but the style of leadership adopted. How participative is the management or the leadership style, how effective is that leadership, or do employees or team members tend to be competitive or cooperative, are there real teams functioning within the organization, or are they just nominal groups. Coming to staff is nothing but the employees and their general capabilities. So what are the positions or the specializations are represented within the team, what positions need to be filled, are there any gaps in required competencies. Coming to skills are the competencies of organizations employees. What are the strongest skills represented within the company or team, are there any skills gap, what is the company or a team known for doing well, how are skills monitored and assessed. Some questions like these are put by themselves, and they can correct themselves for the successful running of the organization. So everything, like from strategy to skills, everything is interrelated, and each element is interdependent on others. So in this way, this model is very useful for the realignment and also to improve the performance. Now coming to scope of management. Management has a broader scope. Under that, we'll discuss about production management. Production management deals with designing the product, location and layout of plant and building, planning and control of factory operations, operation of purchase and storage of materials, inventory cost and quality control, research and development, etc. Marketing management. Marketing research to determine the needs and expectations of customers or consumers, planning and developing suitable products, setting appropriate prices, selecting the right channel of distribution, and the promotional activities like advertising and the salesmanship to communicate with the customers. Coming to financial management, selecting the appropriate sources of funds, raising the required funds at the right time, administration of earnings, estimating the volume of fund. Personnel management, manpower planning, recruitments, selection, training, appraisal, promotions and transfers, compensation, employee welfare services, and personal records and research, etc. Now, other topic is levels of management. Friends, as you can see in the picture, there are three levels of management. Those are top level, middle level, or supervisory level management. So in the top level management, we can see the board of directors or general manager, CEO, CFO, president or vice president, and chief operating officer. In the middle level management, purchaser manager or sales manager, marketing manager, executive officer, plant superintendent, and divisional heads, department heads we can see. And in the supervisory level management, we can see supervisor or superintendent, foreman, section officer, clerk, sub-department executive, etc. So in this levels of management, authority comes down from top level management to lower level, that is supervisory level, but the accountability goes from supervisory level management to the top level management. Top level management. So what is this top level management doing? The top level management is generally occupied by the ownership group. It is the highest level in the managerial hierarchy, and it is the ultimate source of authority in the organization. So some of the duties of top level management are to frame the objectives of the institution, to develop the rules, regulations and policies, to frame the institutional structure, to develop the resources, to supervise and direct the functions of the management. Coming to middle level management. In order to fill up the gap which exists between functional and operative level, some managerial positions are created at middle level of management. And this middle level management consists of departmental managers, deputy managers, foremen, and administrative officers, etc. So the duties of middle level management are to implement the different functions of institution, to maintain good interpersonal relationship with high level management, and at the same time with the supervisors also, to understand the policies, rules and regulations between the various departments of the organization, to educate and train workers for their good performance, to develop the feeling of the unity among the workers and provide the group service as needed. Coming to lower level or supervisory level management. It consists of factory supervisors or superintendents, foremen, sales supervisors, account officers, etc. They directly guide and control the performance of rank and file workers. They issue orders and instructions, and they guide their day-to-day activities. Now the skills, friends. Top management needs conceptual skills, whereas middle level management needs people skills, supervisors or operational management needs technical skills. Now, what are technical skills? So these technical skills are basically involved for the use of knowledge, methods and techniques in performing the job effectively. These skills are essential for the first line managers who spend their time in training their subordinates and clear their doubts regarding the work. Coming to human skills. People skills are also known as human skills. Human skill is the ability to work with other people in a cooperative manner. It involves patience, understanding, trust and genuine involvement in interpersonal relationships. Human relation skills is necessary at every level of management. The success of companies is linked to their success in having excellent relationship with the employees. Coming to conceptual skills. Conceptual skills are crucial for top level managers who must keep the whole system under focus. They must understand the complexities of overall organization, including how each unit of organization contributes towards the overall success of the entire organization. And conceptual skills is the ability to view the organization as a whole and as a total entity, as well as a system comprised of various parts and subsystems integrated into a single unit. Managers should have the ability to understand the overall working of the organization and harmonize the working of the subsystems for reaching the organizational objectives. So friends, as a manager moves from the supervisory or lower level to the top management level, conceptual skills becomes more important than the technical skills, but human skills remain equally important. So that's all friends for today. Hope you all liked the video. Please like and subscribe the video for the latest updates. Thank you.